All right, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
It's Saturday, early morning here in Western Kentucky. Beautiful day.
So far, it's still dark.
Yeah, so far, it's still nice, but nice temperature outside for us to be outside on the deck. And up there. Today, it's a three-part parallel. We're going to only do the first part today. Religious leaders challenge Jesus' authority. The first part is found in Matthew chapter 21, starting at verse 23. When Jesus returned to the temple and began teaching, the leading priests and elders came up to him. They demanded, "By what authority are you doing all these things? Who gave you the right?" I'll tell you by what authority I do these things if you answer one question," Jesus replied. "Did John's authority to baptize come from heaven, or was it merely human?" They talked it over among themselves. "If we say it was from heaven, he will ask us why we didn't believe John. But if we say it's merely human, we'll be mobbed because the people believed John was a prophet." So they finally replied, "We don't know." And Jesus responded, "Then I won't tell you by what authority I do these things." Now the commentary for Matthew. All it gives us for the commentary today is for more information on John the Baptist, see Matthew 3.
Okay. Well, look at Matthew 3.
Well, I'm not going to be able to find it very easily in this.
Oh, yeah.
So, but, John the Baptist was born just a little before Jesus, and he went out into the wilderness and was baptizing people to make way for Jesus. He was the one crying in the desert. So there's a lot more commentary. The reason why we're not reading it all, I guess, is because there's a lot more commentary in the other books. So otherwise,
it divides it up somehow. I don't know exactly how they decide what goes with which part of the parallel, but we're reading the chronological study Bible, which is another reason why he can't really just turn to Matthew 3 because his Bible is all mixed up.
Yeah, but I think the religious leaders were trying to trap Jesus by asking him who his authority came from. He could have just said it comes from God.
Yeah,
but he wanted to show their hearts by asking them a question because they knew all about John the Baptist, and I'm not exactly sure if John the Baptist is still alive or dead at this point in Jesus' life, if he hadn't already been executed. But if they were to say John was from God, well, then Jesus says, "Well, so am I," and then they'd have to acknowledge that.
Right.
And if they admitted that no, it was just some human doing, well then, they would have to deal with the people because the people believed.
Right.
They believed Jesus. They were not hindered by their religious authority or anything like that. They just believed.
There was a lot of people that followed John the Baptist.
Yeah, and there was. That's true.
And that's why John the Baptist was trying to say, this is the real. I'm just baptizing you with water, and he's going to baptize you with Spirit or something like that.
So Jesus kind of had them in a, between a rock and a hard place. They couldn't say one way or the other because no matter which way they went, they were stuck.
Right.
And if they would have just been honest with themselves and said, this was from God, and Jesus would say, "Well, so am I."
Right.
But that would have not progressed the execution of Jesus. I think all that would have stopped and not progressed God's plan.
Yeah.
And so it's just the way that it goes, And he pointed out their hypocrisy as well. They think they don't truly understand or believe what they think they do or what they think they did.
Right.
Okay. Hope everybody has a glorious start to your weekend, and we'll talk to you later.